You're listening to Winnipeg's Classic 107. My name is Simon Rusnak. Yesterday evening, the Agassiz Chamber Music Festival kicked off their 2024 year, dubbed Sounds in the Key of Spring. From June 2nd through 8th, a plethora of players explore a wide array of chamber music in its various guises, combinations, and permutations. Over the next week, looking forward to welcoming a number of Agassiz artists to the Classic 107 studio, beginning this Monday morning with violinist Gregory Lewis. Welcome back to Classic 107.
Thank you, Simon.
It's great to have you here. We last spoke in 2022. It was over Zoom ahead of your WMC McClellan competition finals performance. You were in the midst of your doctoral studies at Yale then, Gregory. Catch us up a little bit. What have you been up to since?
Sure. So I've wrapped up the coursework for my doctoral studies. So now I'm kind of in the post-coursework phase, which has its own kind of set of challenges and set of requirements. And so I'm just kind of working through those. But since there's no more coursework, I'm now free to leave Yale and do whatever I want with my career, which has been a really welcome phase of life. I'm really enjoying just getting out there and playing concerts and doing some teaching and just living the professional life at this stage.
Well, you're originally from Thunder Bay. You completed undergraduate studies at the Des Hôtels Faculty of Music before heading south of the border. Where's home for you now? You're talking about, all of the performing that you're doing and teaching here, there, and everywhere. Where is home?
So home is in New Haven, Connecticut still, where Yale is. I met my wife when I was studying at Yale, and both of us have a lot of work that we're able to do in the area. It's very close to New York. It's also only 2 hours from Boston, so it's a great central location to be based in. Rent is much cheaper in New Haven than New York City, so it just made sense for us to stay in New Haven after I finished my coursework there. And we both love the city. There's lots of green space. It's right on the ocean, so we've made New Haven home for the time being.
That sounds like a really real wonderful place to live. Though just judging, and I know you shouldn't do this, but judging off your Instagram page, it doesn't seem like you've been home all too much. I was just looking at, I think something like the last 6 weeks you've performed on Vancouver Island, plus stops in Rhode Island, Ohio, Boston, Seattle. You're kind of crisscrossing the continent here, Gregory. Has it been a whirlwind?
Yeah, it's totally been a whirlwind. And I'm only going to be home for 3 days between now and September. So it's a whirlwind for sure, but I'm very grateful. This is what I've always wanted to do, and I get to play lots of concerts, so I can't complain at all.
How does it feel to land back here in Winnipeg?
It feels like coming home. It really does. I shouldn't say I'm only home 3 days this summer. I'm home 10 days this summer because I get to spend this week in Winnipeg. It's so nice. It's changed a lot since the last time I spent some time here. There's so many new high-rises. It seems like the city's growing so quickly. But Winnipeg was my first home away from home. I moved here when I was 16 and was so welcomed by the community. And it just felt like home right away. And it's always so nice to come back and see so many familiar faces. And it doesn't feel like I'm traveling when I'm here. It just feels like I'm going to another home.
Yeah, a little reunion.
Yeah, exactly.
You're one of 48 musicians participating in Agassiz this year, which is just a wild number. I mean, this community is just growing, and it is featuring not only local players, but national and international artists like yourself coming back here. Can you feel that sort of, I mean, we use the term family and home. Does it feel like the family is getting back together? It must be so wonderful to see so many familiar faces and make music alongside them again.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's reunions at every single rehearsal. Like Paul Williamson is one of the artists that's playing here, and he and I have been good friends and performing together for over a decade now. Mina Chung is on the roster, and she was one of my teachers at University of Manitoba. Artists that I've looked up to and respected for much of my life are here performing. So it's just all these different facets of life, people that I've known all coming together. It's really incredible.
So yesterday was opening night for Agassiz?
Yes, it was.
How'd it go?
It was fun. I loved it. It's incredible to see what people can pull together in 2 days and put on an opening night. And I thought it went really well, and it was very beautiful music making. Everyone was really giving it their best, and I thought the performance came across quite well.
It was a concert that spanned some 4 centuries in music. What were you playing in?
So I played 3 of the 4 pieces last night. So I played Chaconne for string quartet by Purcell from the 1600s, and I played the Amy Beach Piano Quintet from, I want to say 1907, early 1900s, and then Quartet Sots by Philip Glass, written in the past 5 or so years.
and you are just going to keep on playing throughout this week-long festival. You're back at it again tonight in a concert titled Despite It All, Beethoven plus a couple of new and newer Canadian works and more. And I don't mean to brush past tonight's concert, Gregory, but tomorrow you're headlining your own. You mentioned reuniting with Paul Williamson, the concert 92 strings. Of course, the violin has 4, the piano has 88, well-titled. Tell us about what it's like reuniting with Paul and making music together again.
It's really fun. So Paul and I were roommates in undergrad here in Winnipeg, and then we were also roommates in Los Angeles, where we both went to the same school. And so we've been friends and we've been performing together for a decade now. And so it's very easy just to trust that, we've gone through this process of putting together programs over and over again through various stages of life. And so we know each other very well at this point, and it's easy and efficient and fun, and it's just great to play with Paul again.
Yeah, what more could you ask for?
Exactly.
Looking at the grouping, I'm curious about how you brought these three composers together. Mozart, Price, and Ravel. Are these works you've played together before? Are they new works that you wanted to play together? Why these three composers?
So they're a mix of what I've played recently and what I'm playing on programs later this summer. So the Ravel Sonata is a piece I played it like 8 or 9 years ago, but I'm bringing it back and I'm playing it several places over this summer and into the fall. And so I really wanted to feature the Ravel. I think it's an exceptional piece and I love it a lot. And the Mozart Sonata is one that I played a lot last year, but didn't ever play with Paul. And so I thought that would be a great project for us to work on together. It would be He's also played it with another violinist, but it would be new for the two of us to play together. And so we thought the Mozart would be a great fit. And then I needed about 5 more minutes and was looking for a piece that would fit well in between them. So very lyrical, very beautiful, expressive. And this piece by Florence Price is quite exceptional. It fit everything that we were looking for, and so we were happy to include it.
Yeah, titled Adoration from the mid-20th century, 1951. The concert takes place 7:30 p.m. tomorrow, Tuesday, at the Laudamus Auditorium, which is, for the most part, the home of Agassiz Chamber Music Festival, a concert that features violinist Gregory Lewis alongside the renowned pianist Paul Williamson. The two have a long history, as we just heard. Again, skipping forward a little bit because there are so many concerts that are happening. You also headline another concert Friday, 6 p.m., a solo recital, right?
Yes, yeah, and it'll be, I guess I shouldn't say solo recital because Andrea, I think.
Andrea Chusky. Yeah, of course, hosting. She's so wonderful.
She's hosting it, and so a lot of it's going to be kind of conversation and dialogue with some playing and then more conversation. So it'll be really nice. I think the setting is one where we'll be able to kind of break down that fourth wall and engage with the audience and really welcome them into the performance. So I'm really looking forward to that as well.
A wonderful chance to hear from you, Andrea. Just such a great host and just such a giving person on stage, and also just so well read and so knowledgeable, and she's such a great communicator. So excited for the two of you to converse. I know you gave a pre-show chat yesterday with her as well. Also gives us a chance to really hear your instrument on loan from the Canada Council for the Arts Musical Instrument Bank. Can you tell us about this violin of yours, Gregory?
Sure. So I'm currently playing on the 1768 Miller Galliano. It's an instrument that I have on loan from the Canada Council for the Arts. So they have this collection of instruments. There's 16 violins, and every 3 years they, through an audition process, give out these 16 violins to 16 young Canadians. And so I was awarded this violin last summer, and I get to play on it until 2027. And it is so beautiful. I love the violin so much, and it's just been a real honor and pleasure to play on it.
For those listening who maybe don't play violin or don't have this sort of intimate relationship with an instrument of any kind, what's it been like getting to know this instrument? Because there's this sort of like, I don't want to use the word courtship, but there's a while where you just kind of get to know each other and kind of figure out strengths and weaknesses, right?
Yeah, the first week after I had it, it was actually the last thing that I did before a little bit of a summer break. And so for the first week that I had the violin, I just took things very slowly. I did lots of like scales and warm-up exercises just to try to get to know the violin. But actually the process was a lot quicker than I was expecting it to be. Of course, I still am learning things as I go, but there wasn't any difficult adjustment switching over to it, which was wonderful.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can get a violin you love and it takes you 6 months or a year to finally start feeling like you know what it can do and how to get around it. But maybe it was a few weeks to a month, I was feeling pretty comfortable on the instrument. So the process was pretty smooth.
Well, so excited for you to share your sound and this instrument with the Winnipeg audience throughout this Agassiz run. Of course, you're participating in so many of the concerts. A full week of chamber music taking place at the Lodamus Auditorium, plus a few other spots as well. Gregory, welcome back to town and enjoy the festival run.
Thanks, Simon.
You can learn more about the Agassiz Chamber Music Festival online at agassizfestival.com or classic107.com under the events tab.